Magic versus Magic with a CK. So we're going to get into the different variations of Magic, and we have some book examples we're going to read through today. We have, experiencing the impossible, the science of magic with a C. Then we have true magic with a CK, Amber K. So we're going to read excerpts from these. First, let's get into some key points about each term, okay? So we're going to talk about magic and magic, get a little bit of a differentiator of what they are. Magic is a term that refers to the art of producing illusions or supernatural effects through the use of tricks, spells, or other techniques. Magic can be seen as a form of entertainment or as a way of manipulating the natural world in order to achieve certain ends. Magic can be seen as a way of accessing hidden knowledge or powers as a means of connecting with the spiritual or supernatural realm. It's mostly entertainment based, stage magic. We're going to get into some couple other modern examples. Think of like fortune telling, those type of things. Those are the basis of magic with a C. We have right here the 33 magic equals 33 in English ordinal base bone of our world. Obviously, we live in a game of illusions, so that's why you're seeing that. But we've known that for a long time. And like I brought up before, we're going to be reading an excerpt from the book Experiencing the Impossible from Gustav Kuhn, The Science of Magic. And I've been reading this. This has actually been in my reading rotation right now. I've been learning a lot. Part of the reason why I'm doing a presentation on this. But ever since I started to sell books, I stopped putting a lot of notations, even sticky notes in my book. But for as far as I've gotten into the book thus far, I only have one sticky note, right? One sticky note. And that's because I felt like it was really important and I had to keep that note. So stay tuned because we're going to be reading that. And this came out from the MIT Press, which is good. In the book selling world, you want to see books come from good colleges from their presses. Now let's talk about the term magic with a CK. Magic, on the other hand, is a term that is often used to refer to a more spiritual or metaphysical form of magic. Magic is typically seen as a way of accessing and manipulating unseen forces or energies in order to bring out about desired change in the world. Magic may involve the use of involve the use of ritual, symbolism, and other techniques to harness and direct these energies, and is often seen as a way of aligning oneself with the natural rhythms and patterns of the universe. And what we have right here, again, both powerful segments of our world. This is not even, I'm not even, pitting these two bases of almost the same thing against each other. I'm just adding color, I'm adding depth, I'm adding light to this topic. All right. And the magic and the gematria at hand is awesome, right? Magical manifestations equals 222 in English ordinal, but 22 letters, 2 words. So you see the magic, numerical magic behind that. Again, I'm not making this up. Yes, I find these things. Well, I observe these things, but these these gematria combinations, these numbers were there, even if I wasn't there or not. All right, and that's what makes it powerful. It's like, we see regular magic as an illusion. Trickery. I'm not trying to trick you with the gematria. There's really nothing to trick you about with the gematria, right? So magical manifestations equals 22 letters, 222 English ordinal, 22 letters, 2 words. Pretty powerful in my opinion. And as you already know, I talked about true magic, Amber K. A beginning's guide. We're gonna just go over the basics of what is magic in her eyes. This is a very popular book, paperback from back in the day, 1990. And for some gematria, we have mechanically speaking, world is magical, right? This is what we're talking about of them being the same, them being combined, right? Again, mechanically speaking, world is magical. This side, 334 ordinal, and then reduction 154. Mechanically, the world is a magical place, also equaling 334 English ordinal, 154 reduction. That's powerful. Do you see that? Do you see that connection? Right? Because when you get into the mechanics of how this world operates, and when I read it from these books, you will understand. Yes, magic with a C is different than magic with a CK. But in a lot of retrospects and a lot of aspects, they are the same. They are combined together. They are separate but one. You can't have one without the other within this world. And the combining gematria right here tells it. Right, one more time. Mechanically speaking, world is magical, and mechanically, the world is a magical place. Both equal 334 English ordinal, 154 reduction. One, the top one, is magical with the C, and the below one is magical with the CK, but they still come out to the same gematria, right? So that's the basis, what we're working with for this presentation. When we start getting into the movie aspect of our society and our world and whatnot, right? So that's really just the start of it all. Okay, we're gonna get into our book readings before we move on. We're gonna read that one sticky note I have in Experiencing the Impossible: The Science of Magic, Gustav Kuhn. Actually, I love reading this right now. Life's been busy, so I haven't been reading as much, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this book. Very academic, very studious. Obviously, it's from MIT, so they weren't playing games. Read you a passage, page 96, chapter 4. The chapter is The Gaps in Our Conscious Experience. Just gonna read this excerpt right here. I don't pen my pages, okay? The reason why you don't see the magician loading the lemons under the cup or see how the cigarette is being dropped into my lap is because your attention is elsewhere, rendering you effectively blind. Instead of giving you a task such as counting basketball passes, the magician simply guides your attention away from the method used. There has been much debate about the differences and similarities between misdirection and unintentional blindness. Nevertheless, it is clear that manipulating where, when, and what you attend to can result in astonishing failures in perception. Oh, oh, I'm reading that again because that's the basis of everything, and that's when I bring up mechanically about our world. This is what I'm talking about, and you guys need to be able to pick this up. Like, this is why the master class is important. Like, I don't know, like, you guys, there's people out there that want to understand how the world really works and stuff like that. It's complicated, but when you hear things like this, it all makes sense. So one more time, let me read this. There has been much debate about the differences and similarities between misdirection and unintentional blindness. Nevertheless, it is clear that manipulating where, when, and what you attend to can result in astonishing failures in perception. So if you can manipulate someone's where, when, and what they attend to, their perceptions fail. Think about that. It doesn't even have to be a magic trick. This goes far beyond stage magic in regular, parlor house illusions. This is society. This is human life right here. You can, by manipulating where, when, and what a person attends to, can result in astonishing failures of perception. Inatten- Inattentional blindness also helps explain some of the key principles of magic. One of the golden rules states that you should never perform the same trick using the same method twice. And people indeed far are more likely to notice the cigarette or lighter drop when the same trick is repeated. The reason for this is that seeing a magic trick for the first time requires more cognitive resources, so you have less attentional capacity available to see the method. Similarly, telling your audience what capacity available similarly, telling your audience what you are about to do is a bad idea. Our studies show that once participants know that I am about to make a cigarette or lighter disappear, they are significantly more likely to notice the drop. The reason for this is that once you know what the magician is about to do, you can free up attentional resources and thus be more likely to spot the secret method. But so that's where the magic and the magic with the CK gets involved. Because when you start getting to spiritual rituals and stuff, you kind of have to get consent from the conscious. But if you could, get somebody in a little bit of a trance where even consciously they're not fully attentive to the magical ritual at hand, um, that's where you want them. But that's a different subsection of like magic. This is purely more talking about stage magic. But mechanically speaking, with the where, when, and how, uh, that transcends everything. So that was awesome. Page 96, chapter 4, the gaps in our consciousness. That was the chapter. Very awesome. Very awesome. So that was the magic with the C, just a C. Now we're going to talk about True Magic, Amber K in this paperback. What is magic with a CK? And we're just going to go to chapter 1. I haven't read this book. It's just been sitting in my collection, but I have books in my collection sometimes I just bring out for studying and resources and things like that. So dude, I just love these type of topics. And again, we're getting into the movie aspect. Like this is all part of it. Okay. So I'm just gonna read a couple pages from the start, you know, about magic and you, but I'm not gonna read this page. I'm gonna start here. What magic is not, and then I'm gonna get into what magic is, and then what magic is for. What magic is not. Magic is not an array of tricks or stage illusions. The K at the end of the word serves to distinguish it from magic with just the C of nightclub acts. It is not for show. Magic with a K is not supernatural. As Janet and Stuart Furr, prominent Irish witches and craft teachers point out, magic with a K does not break the laws of nature when it appears to do so. That is because it is obeying laws that the observer has not yet understood. Magic with a K is not the medieval art of summoning demons to do one's will, though it is possible to establish communication with beings of other planes of reality. Trying to coerce them into service is both unethical and dangerous. So it's important that it is possible to establish communications with beings in other realities in different frequencies. So that is a thing, you know. You just got to be careful. about the other things people try to say what magic is. Magic is not based on a pact with the devil. Most magicians with the K, including Wiccan priests, do not believe in Satan and would certainly have no dealings with such an entity if he did exist. So the mainstream always gets this wrong. Magic is not a good way to get revenge on enemies or force a former lover to return to you. Indeed, there is no quote unquote good way to accomplish such nasty, immature things, but the penalties for misusing magic can be far greater than the consequences of these actions on the material plane. And that's important because, I know some people don't believe in karma. I do. I do believe in energy transfers and stuff. And I've heard and studied on multiple occasions that if you start to abuse magic, there are metaphysical, there are spiritual consequences that you have to do, because again, there are other beings on different planes that are more unknowable, more powerful than what we even can imagine, that understand the mechanisms of our world a lot better than what we understand. Magic is not available only to a few talented individuals born with special gifts. It can be learned and mastered to a great degree by anyone with self-discipline and persistence. Magic does not reside in ritual tools, amulets, magical swords, etc., until they are charged by the magician. The skill and power lies always in the person and not in the tool. Magic does not generally result in spectacular special effects on the material plane. Strange entities materializing, showers of gold falling from the sky, locked doors bursting asunder. Dramatic physical effects are possible and occasionally occur, but most magic aims at internal growth where results are harder to see. Even magic for material plane ends for material plane ends tends to manifest in more or less quiet, gradual, natural ways. Let me read that one more time. Dramatic physical effects are possible and occasionally occur, but most magic with a K aims at internal growth where results are harder to see. Even magic for material plane ends tends to manifest in a more or less quiet, gradual, natural way. That's important. And magic with a K is not easy to learn or to practice. It is not an quote unquote instant fix for life's problems, nor a shortcut to fame and wealth. It is a set of specialized tools uniquely well designed for inner growth and spiritual development. It can be used for more ordinary purposes, but sometimes that is like trying to pound nails with a screwdriver. Magic can be used to bring you safety, wealth, and loving relationships. This is with magic with a K. But it is not a substitute for wearing a seatbelt, getting a job, or being sensitive to your lover's needs. And no matter what it's used for, magic with a K requires hard work and discipline. So, what is magic? A definition of magic is in order. We have already rejected that of Webster's dictionary, magic with a K, as the use of means as charm spells believed to have supernatural powers over natural forces. Here are some other definitions by magicians with a K. Magic is the science of the control of the secret forces of nature. Actually, I like that. Magic is the science of the control of the secret forces of nature. S.L. McGregor Mathers, Order of the Golden Dawn. Magic is a comprehensive knowledge of all nature. Francis Barrett. Magic with a K is the art and science of causing changes to occur in conformity within will. Aleister Crowley. Some would consider within the magic in the K world. The GOAT. I mean, I'm not saying he's my GOAT. I'm just saying within the realm of Magic, that's where people have him at as like the MJ of that. He's like the Michael Jordan. Once again, magic is the art and science of causing changes to occur in conformity with will. Again, that's almost natural in a way. A lot of will, inner growth. Magic is the art of affecting changes in consciousness at will. William Butler. The work of magic involves transformation, and the first transformation is a shift of perception. So we can see that magic involves using natural forces to affect willed change, often changes in our own perceptions or consciousness. But what is the goal? What magic is for? Stuart Farrer puts it this way: the stage by stage development of the entire human being is the whole aim of magic. Let me read that again. Stuart Farrer puts it this way: the stage by stage the stage by stage development of the entire human being. So the stage by stage development, okay, of the entire human being is the whole aim of magic. Okay. Stage by stage development. That's the magic. That's the transformation. According to Weinstein, magic can help get your entire life in harmony mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and physically. And what is the ultimate purpose of the work? To fulfill the self on an even higher level, to transform, uplift, and so fully develop the self that the world, the whole universe may benefit thereby. William G. Gray, another well-known occultist, says, magic is for growing up as children of light, sane, sound, healthy, and happy souls, living naturally and normally on levels of inner life where we can be real people as contrasted with the poor shadow shelves we project at one another on earth. Thus, magic exists with a K to expedite, guide, and enhance change. Wiccans might say it is the work of the goddess within. Everything she touches changes. It seems a peculiarly human process as far as we know. Other creatures can change their environments, but only sentient, self-aware beings can change themselves. Perhaps the citizens attempt this too. One day we may explore the spiritual paths and magical traditions of the dolphins and the whales. I think that's enough. So that's what magic is. I think that you guys get the point. I think that was really good. And so, it's important to understand the difference between magic with a C, magic with a CK. And so now we can move further. Okay, we got those out the way. Now let's get into the meat of the masterclass.